I mean, I was scared too. I'm not gonna lie. When I landed.
The opening of the ATP 500 Inches Tokyo was supposed to be a celebration of Carlos Alcaraz's long-awaited debut in Japan, but within minutes, the match turned into pure drama that left the entire stadium in shock. The world number one, the player everyone came to see, collapsed on the court, clutching his ankle in visible pain as thousands of fans held their breath, fearing the worst. Was this the end of his tournament before it had even started? The silence was broken only by the rush of the physio sprinting to his side, and in that moment, it felt as if the fate of the event itself hung on Alcaraz's decision. Would he stand up and fight through the pain? Or would the injury force him to withdraw and crush the hopes of an entire crowd, desperate to see their first glimpse of the Spanish star in Tokyo? From the very first games against Sebastián Báez, it became clear this wasn't going to be the routine debut Alcaraz or his fans had imagined. The ankle twist came so suddenly that the young Spaniard collapsed with a grimace that sent shockwaves through the crowd. For several long minutes, he remained seated on the hard surface, gripping his left ankle as if every step forward in Tokyo might already be over. The murmur of thousands filled the arena, blending fear with disbelief. The physio rushed in, kneeling beside him, carefully rotating the joint while Alcaraz clenched his jaw. Cameras zoomed in on his face, capturing a mixture of agony and determination. Would the number one in the world, at only 22 years old, really be forced to abandon a tournament that was meant to showcase his dominance in Asia? But Alcaraz, known for his grit, refused to give in. With a firm nod, he accepted the tight compressive bandage and slowly rose to his feet. The message was clear. He was staying on court, no matter what. The match didn't get any easier after Alcaraz decided to continue. The pain in his ankle was still visible. Every sprint and change of direction tested his balance, and for a moment, it looked like Báez could take full advantage. The Argentine pressed hard, breaking early to lead 3-0, and the atmosphere in the arena shifted from concern to nervous tension. Fans wondered if they were about to witness a shocking upset in Tokyo's opening round. Then, as if fate intervened, the skies opened and rain interrupted the first set. Despite the retractable roof, the delay forced a pause that changed everything. While many saw it as an inconvenience, for Alcaraz it was a lifeline. Sitting with his team, he used the extra minutes to calm his nerves, reset his strategy, and test his ankle under less pressure. When play resumed, the world number one returned with a sharper focus, adjusting his footwork and relying more on precise ground strokes than explosive movement. Slowly, point by point, the comeback began. When Alcaraz walked back onto the court after the rain delay, it felt like a completely different player had emerged. The limp was still there, but the fire in his eyes signaled something else entirely: defiance. Down 0-3, he tightened his grip on the racket and began striking the ball with laser-like precision. Each forehand ripped through the court, each backhand pinned Báez deep behind the baseline. Slowly, the scoreboard began to tilt. 1-3, then 2-3, the crowd rising with every winner. By 4-3, the arena was a cauldron of noise, chants of "Vamos!" echoing as if they had been transported to Madrid. Báez, who had looked calm and dominant just half an hour earlier, suddenly seemed unsettled. His shots lost depth, his timing faltered, and Alcaraz pounced. With a mix of heavy topspin and fearless net play, the Spaniard stormed through 6 straight games to steal the first set 6-4. What had begun as a nightmare turned into a declaration. Injury or not, the world number one wasn't going anywhere. The momentum from that first set comeback carried straight into the second, and suddenly Báez was the one playing with pressure. Alcaraz, though clearly managing the pain, began dictating the rallies with a confidence that only champions possess. His ankle was taped tight, but his mind was free every swing, a statement that he refused to surrender. Báez tried to counter with his trademark consistency, extending rallies and forcing Alcaraz to run. But the Spaniard responded with brilliant improvisation. Drop shots that pulled the Argentine forward, followed immediately by lobs that left him stranded. The Tokyo crowd roared with every dazzling exchange, fully aware they were witnessing not just a tennis match, but a test of character. By mid-set, Alcaraz had built a commanding lead, breaking Báez's serve twice and silencing any doubts about his ability to finish strong. With one final forehand winner down the line, he sealed the second set 6-2, raising his arms in triumph, as if to declare that pain was temporary, but resilience was permanent. The victory over Báez was more than just a first-round win, it was a statement to the entire tournament. Yet, even as Alcaraz celebrated, the questions refused to fade. Could his ankle hold up through a week of punishing matches on hard court? The ATP 500 Inches Tokyo had already turned chaotic, with 4 of the 8 seeded players crashing out in the opening round. Giants of the draw were gone, leaving a battlefield full of opportunity, and Alcaraz suddenly stood as the undisputed favorite. But that also meant every opponent left had nothing to lose and everything to gain by targeting the world number 1. Names like Taylor Fritz, Holger Rune, and Casper Ruud loomed ahead, each capable of capitalizing on the slightest weakness. The Spanish star's resilience in round 1 had lifted the crowd, but the road ahead promised no mercy. In a tournament stripped of predictability, Alcaraz carried not just the weight of his own expectations, but also the hopes of an entire event desperate for its headline act to survive. While Alcaraz's triumph steadied the nerves of his fans, the rest of the draw only grew more unpredictable. Casper Ruud nearly suffered an early exit himself, dropping the first set against local favorite Shintaro Mochizuki before clawing back with ruthless efficiency to win in 3. His survival reminded everyone why he remains a constant threat in any tournament. Meanwhile, Holger Rune prepared for a tricky clash against the rising American Jensen King, while Taylor Fritz eyed his opening match against Portugal's Nuno Borges. Each of these names represented not only high-level opposition, but also potential semifinal or final blockades for Alcaraz. And yet, what made Tokyo truly volatile were the absences top 10 stars like Jannik Sinner, Alexander Zverev, and Alex de Minaur had chosen Beijing instead, leaving a field less star-studded but far more dangerous in its unpredictability. For Alcaraz, that meant no easy paths. Every round, every set, even every point would test whether his ankle and his mental toughness could outlast the chaos around him. The stakes for Alcaraz went far beyond just Tokyo. With Shanghai and the rest of the Asian swing looming, every match carried implications for his endurance, his ranking cushion, and his preparation for the ATP Finals in Turin. 7 titles already defined his season, including triumphs at Roland Garros and the US Open. But Tokyo had now become a different kind of battlefield, one where survival mattered as much as dominance. His team, watching closely from the player's box, monitored every step, every wince, calculating how to balance ambition with caution. Even the commentators noted that his footwork had subtly changed, more economical, less explosive, yet no less effective. It was proof of his adaptability, his ability to reinvent his game under pressure. But one truth lingered. The ankle would be tested in every round. Opponents would push, knowing that targeting his movement could tilt the match. For Alcaraz, this wasn't just tennis, it was resilience on display, a fight to stay unshaken at the very peak of the sport. As the tournament advanced, the pressure surrounding Alcaraz only grew heavier. His next battle would pit him against Belgium's Zizou Bergs, a dangerous underdog fresh off a confidence-boosting win over Alejandro Tabilo, the recent Chengdu champion. For the Spaniard, this was more than just a second-round test. It was the perfect measure of whether his ankle could withstand sustained intensity. If victorious, a potential quarterfinal clash against Brandon Nakashima or Martin Fucsovics awaited, both players eager to seize the spotlight. Every step, every swing now carried double weight, protecting the injury while proving he could still dominate. The Japanese crowd, electrified by his presence, rallied behind him, turning each point into a surge of energy. But in the locker rooms, rivals studied his movements, searching for cracks in the armor of the world number 1. Alcaraz's challenge in Tokyo was no longer about winning comfortably, it was about outlasting pain, silencing doubt, and reminding the world why he sits at the top of men's tennis. The opening round of the ATP 500 Inches Tokyo will be remembered not just for a victory on paper, but for the spectacle of grit and determination that Carlos Alcaraz displayed. What began as a terrifying moment, a twisted ankle that could have ended his campaign before it truly began, transformed into a showcase of resilience that reaffirmed why he is the world's number 1. The win over Báez was more than a scoreline. It was a message to the rest of the field that even wounded, Alcaraz refuses to yield. Yet, the path ahead remains treacherous. With Fritz, Ruud, and Rune lurking, and the physical demands of the Asian swing pressing down, his endurance will be tested like never before. Tokyo has become a crucible, a place where champions are either broken or forged stronger. For Alcaraz, this week is not just about chasing his 8th title of the year, it is about proving that true greatness is measured not in easy wins, but in how a champion survives when adversity strikes.